Welcome back, guys. So even though we didn't do the lesson for lesson 97, we can still use the practice problems as extra practice for ourselves. So we started with number 7, where we had to do a comparison. Radical 2 plus radical 2, we had to compare that to radical 4. Radical 2 plus radical 2 combines to give us 2 radical 2. So 2 times the square root of 2 is bigger than 2. So this should have been your comparison symbol. Then we had to graph x is greater than or equal to -4 and less than -3. So I did an open circle on -3, closed circle on -4, and we can only shade in between those two numbers. Number 9, find the area of the rectangle that measures 2 radical 7 by radical 7. The area and then the perimeter. So area, length times width, 2 radical 7 times radical 7. Radical 7 times radical 7 is 7. 7 times 2 give me 14 square units. For perimeter, I do 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. 2 times 2 radical 7 gave me 4 radical 7 plus 2 times radical 7 is 2 radical 7. These are like, so I can combine their coefficients. 4 and 2 make 6 radical 7 units. Number 10, that was an interesting problem. It had 3 squares that pushed up together to form a triangle in the middle of them. They wanted us to classify the triangle. I should have put it's a right triangle. And then they wanted us to find the area and then the length of the longest side. So it's a right triangle. So to find the area, base times height, divide by 2. That should have given you 6 centimeters squared for the area. And then I said, well, 6 squared plus 2 squared has to give you c squared. Or you may have also already noticed that that third square was 40 centimeters squared. So you might have already said, well, each side is the square root of 40. Okay, so I broke the square root of 40 down into 4 times 10. That gives me a root of 2 to come out. 2 radical 10 centimeters for the length of the longest side. Remember, on a right triangle, the longest side is always the hypotenuse. Number 11, sketch 2 similar triangles and then make the length of the bigger one 3 times the length of the smaller one. Okay, so I just did a 1 centimeter length and a 3 centimeter length. That's the easiest way to make this one 3 times bigger than that one. So then they want us to find how would we compare their areas? Okay, so remember, if our scale factor is 3, okay, that means the length of each side is 3 times on the big one what it is on the small one. But if we want to compare their areas, we have to take that scale factor and square it. So the area of the big one would be 9 times larger than the area of the small one. Okay. Number 12, we had to factor and then distribute. Okay. A is a factoring problem. When I looked at these terms, I said, well, they can both have a 5 taken out of them. So I took out a 5, and then basically I'm taking each term and dividing it by 5. Okay, 15x squared divided by 5 leaves me with 3x squared. Negative 10x divided by 5 leaves me with negative 2x. Negative 65 divided by 5 leaves me with negative 13. Okay, so 5 is outside the parentheses, and then the rest of the terms inside the parentheses. On B, we had to expand or distribute. It says negative, open parentheses, 2y minus 3, close parentheses. So you could think of this as this is making it the opposite of everything that's in here. Or sometimes we can even think about it as this being a -1 times each term, if it helps you to think about it that way. -1 or negative times 2y gives me negative 2y. Negative times negative 3 gives me positive 3. That's your final answer, negative 2y plus 3. Number 16, x squared plus 1 equals 10. Subtract 1 on both sides. X squared equals 9. Square root both sides. X is equal to plus or minus 3. Don't forget about the positive root and the negative root. Number 17. We started out with 1/3 x equals 2/3 x plus 1/6. Okay, I need to get my x's together. So I decided to take this x and move it over to this side. So I subtracted 2/3 x from both sides. That gave me negative 1/3 x is equal to 1/6. Then I said, what's happening to x? It's being multiplied by negative 1/3. How do I undo that? Multiply both sides by negative 3/1. Multiply by reciprocal. So I multiplied both sides by negative 3/1. These all cancel. X is equal to 1/6 times negative 3/1 gives me negative 3/6, reduces to negative 1/2. X is equal to negative 1/2. Okay, number 18. 2x minus 3 quantity squared means 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. Here is a FOIL problem. 2x times 2x gives me 4x squared. Outside, 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. Inside, negative 3 times 2x, negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. My middle terms combine, negative 6x and negative 6x make negative 12x. Final answer, 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Number 19 is another FOIL problem. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. Positive 3 times 2x is positive 6x. Positive 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Negative 6x and positive 6x make 0 x's, so I'm just left with 4x squared minus 9. Number 20 says to find the perimeter or the area and perimeter of a rectangle with a length of x plus 7, width of x plus 1. So length times width, FOIL again. X times x is x squared. X times positive 1 is positive 1x. Positive 7 times x is positive 7x. Positive 7 times positive 1 is positive 7. 7x and x combine. Final answer, x squared plus 8x plus 7 for the area. Perimeter, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times positive 7 is positive 14. Positive 2 times x is positive 2x. Positive 2 times positive 2 is positive 2. My x's are like. Positive 2x, positive 2x gives me 4x's. Positive 14 and positive 2 gives me positive 16. 4x plus 16 for the perimeter. 21 is a dividing scientific notation problem. 4.5 divided by 3 is 1.5. 10 to the 12 divided by 10 to the 8. Remember, same base. When we're dividing, we subtract our exponents, so we end up with 10 to the 4th. 1.5 times 10 to the 4th. Distribute and then solve on this one. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Is greater than 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times negative x is negative 2x. I want my x's together, so I decided to add 2x on both sides. Added 2x here, that's gone. Added 2x here, I'm left with 5x minus 15 is greater than 10. So now I want to move my 15 over here. Add 15, 5x is greater than 25. Divide both sides by 5. X is greater than 5. Okay, open circle on 5. To the right are the values greater than 5. Okay, hope you did well. Make sure that you send me an email with the phone number if you have questions on anything so that I can talk to you and answer those. Hope you guys have a great day and see you next time.